Hey y'all, hey, what's up out there to all of my fellow gold diggers? This is your girl Rita, also known as the self-proclaimed gold digger. If this is your first time to my channel, welcome. I am so glad to have you. But if you are a fellow gold digger, welcome back. Y'all know I love and I appreciate each and every one of you, y'all. All right, so tonight we are going to be talking about being booked, busy, and burn out and how to deal with that. And this is especially for my Black women out there who are trying to do all the things. Okay, so we are going to get into it. I have my notes, I have plenty of notes, but y'all know before I get into anything, y'all, I always have to do my social media checks because y'all see I have a different setup again to this evening. And then also my setup was acting a little funny. So I'm hoping y'all are hearing me and seeing me. But let me just check really, really quick to make sure everything is looking good. And then we are going to get started. All right, so I'm good there. And then let me check one other place. I hope y'all been having a good week. Y'all, this has the month of May was very, very busy for me. I'm glad it was a lot of good things, but I'm happy that most of the things are over. June is starting to look like a really good month, but it's also getting booked and busy. So this is why this topic is apropos as we talked about being booked, busy, and burnt out. Okay, because May was about to drag me, y'all, with all the stuff that I had going on. All right. So if you are like me, you are booked, busy, you got all the things on your calendar, the alerts and all that kind of stuff, but you don't know the last time that you rested. That's what we're going to be talking about today. We are going to be talking about how not to overextend ourselves, making sure that we are in alignment with the things that fit our purpose and what we are designed to do and not getting overwhelmed. Okay. So all this hustle, y'all know I'm the queen of hustles and I've been the queen of side hustles and stuff. But even I have cut down on my side hustles. I'm not doing them. I'm not doing them at full speed like I was before, because I am realizing I can't do all these things and still take care of me. So I've definitely slowed down. I have regrouped, kind of refocused, put some things into different perspective to make sure that I'm taking care of myself as best as possible and letting some things go. So that's what we're talking about today because I don't want y'all to be exhausted and I don't want y'all to be busy and you busy doing stuff that don't even matter. All right. We don't want that at all. All right. So let's talk about it. And y'all, I got some. I'm a little nerd if y'all haven't already known. So I come with the facts and the stats and everything like that. So I had to get some statistics too, so I can put things in perspective because I know the stats are out there. All right, so if y'all are like me, y'all got the degrees, you probably got businesses, you may even have some side hustles and stuff that you're doing and you're holding down your family, you're taking care of your responsibilities at home, but you are struggling to find peace, you are struggling to find rest just because you have all the balls in the air and you're juggling and doing all the things and everybody is relying on you to do it, including your friend group. So you one of those friends that everybody is dependent on or relying on, or you the strong friend that everybody else looks to for help. So you're doing all the things. You got the degrees, you got the business, you out here hustling and everything, taking care of business, but you need some rest. So let's look at it. So what we have found out that yes, we as Black females, we are very highly educated. Y'all, Black women are the most educated demographic in the United States, y'all. All right. So if you didn't know, now you know. Black women are the most educated in demographic in the United States. But unfortunately, we still earn less than white men with no degree. No degree, y'all. We're going to get into that. But let me real quick, because this is a moment for us to shine a little bit. So when we look at other Black students, so 64% of bachelor's degrees in its graduation season. So if you saw a whole bunch of females graduating, shout out to the males, shout out to everybody who graduated, but it's a disproportionate amount of females graduating. So 64% of bachelor's degrees from Black students are from us females. 71.5% of the master's degrees are from Black females, and over 65.9% of doctoral degrees and medical degrees and dental degrees also come from females. Now, I am very, very, very proud of the Black female, but it also begs the question, what is going on with our males? What is going on with our male counterparts? Like, that is another topic that I'll have to look into and delve into, because it does pique my curiosity, especially with me raising a Black male, because I want to make sure our males are going to school and getting educated as well. Like the females, we are killing the game, but the males are getting left behind as in the process. So I don't know, that, and that's a whole nother topic too. Not only that they're getting left behind, but also probably for my single folks who are out there dating and you're wondering why the dating pool is so shallow. Here's why, okay? And I'm not saying you have to have a degree to be good or be a good male or a good man or something like that. But if you are trying to date a high caliber woman and you cannot keep up, that might be the issue. So you talking about these females and how they expecting certain things, baby, she coming with her degree. So what are you bringing? What are you bringing to the table? She can't be bothered when you ain't bringing nothing to the table. All right. But anyway, back to the topic at hand. All right. So as I mentioned, Black women are the most educated demographic in the United States, but we still earn less than our white men with no degree. So Black women with a bachelor's degree, so this is with a bachelor's, they earn $60,000 on average, $60,900 versus white men with some college. Like they got some college, but they don't have a degree. They went to college, they didn't finish, or whatever. So white men with some college earn $61,400. So that's $500 more. You might be like, that's not a whole lot, but we done went and got our 4-year degree. They only had to go get a little bit of college, didn't even finish, don't even have a degree, and they're still out earning us. So, and statistics show that over a 40-year career, Black women with advanced degrees can lose over $2.4 million due to this wage gap. $2.4 million, y'all. This is serious, okay? Because basically we done studied harder, we done worked smarter and everything like that, but we still getting paid less. Like the math ain't mathing. Make it make sense. So this is not cool on so many different levels. And like I said, I'll have to touch upon our Black males as well in a different topic. But we are hustling and working so hard, and we're feeling like we got to do it all, and we got to stop being booked and burnt out and exhausted and just broken down. So that's what we're going to talk about. I just have 5 points that I'm going to quickly cover tonight, and also we're going to play a little game called Booked or Burnout at the end that I'm excited about too. But let's go into the first thing of why you might be trying to do it all. So there's something called performative productivity. And what that means, or what it kind of applies, are you working or are you performing? Some of y'all are not being productive, but you are performing, all right? And you probably tired because the applause don't pay the bills. What do I mean by that? All right, so performing. If you're performing, and we are not a circus act, okay, by no means or a stretch of the imagination, but if you might be performing if you're doing things for validation or for optics, and you're not doing the things for results. So if you're doing it to kind of impress other people, if you're doing it trying to look good, if that's what the optics mean, if you're doing it for the optics and not for the results, so people can say, oh my gosh, look at her doing her thing and everything. If you're doing it for that reason, then that is performative productivity. You're trying to impress other people, but you're not getting results. Or performative productivity might be you're checking the boxes, but they ain't tied to anything meaningful, okay? Or because this hit home with me, you might have check the boxes, or you've been checking the boxes and you thought they meant something, only to find out later they ain't mean a doggone thing. Like they ain't like you were in this race, you were doing this stuff, and then you found out all these boxes that you were checking, all these things that you were going after. At the end of the day, it ain't amount to nothing. Like, so now you tired, you exasperated, you disillusioned by the whole thing because you out here working hard, stressing yourself out and checking the boxes and ain't even tied to nothing meaningful. Or you might be having performative productivity if you are finding yourself saying yes to stuff. So people don't think that you're lazy, but in reality, you are really drowning. Okay. But you don't want people to think bad of you. You don't want people to talk bad about you. So you're saying yes to certain things. When really you should be saying no and choosing your own peace. Now, what does that look like? Because I said that you might be doing these things. Here's what it looks like. An example, common example, especially with us Black females in the Black church, if you're volunteering for everything at church or at work, trying to impress people, while your own dreams are collecting dust, that's an example of performative productivity. Okay. You can't be doing everything. And sometimes we get guilt tripped, especially in the church, that we supposed to be doing the Lord's work. But the Lord got more than one angel, more than one worker in the church. I am not the only one. Okay. And church starts at home. So I need to take care of my own household first. So make sure you are not burning yourself out doing that. Also at work, sometimes we are taking on too many things on our plate because you're trying to impress your boss. You're looking to have this promotion. You want to show that you're able to handle multiple tasks so that you'll be looked at for that next position or that next promotion and stuff like that. That is performative productivity. You don't have to do everything. And your value is not tied to how much work you're doing with different organizations or at your job. So please, please, please be mindful of that. Or if you're volunteering for different events, but the projects that you really need to be working on, you're not working on them. So they're staying stagnant. That is performative productivity. Also, here's the thing, and I've been guilty of this too. If you have been posting every day, but you're still unclear about your actual business model, okay? That's performative productivity. You just trying to say, oh, you busy just to say that you're doing something, but it don't mean anything. Like it's not moving the needle. It's not generating results. You don't even know what the clear goal is. You're just posting to say, yeah, I put up a post today. Yeah, I made a post. I made 5 posts, but they are irrelevant. They don't mean anything. They're not pointing to anything. Like, what are we doing? All right. So that is what performative productivity is. Or here's another one. I almost forgot this one. If you're running errands, doing all the things, and you're doing these things in order to feel productive while avoiding like a hard conversation or some kind of task that you really need to be tackling, that is performative productivity. I have been guilty of that as well. I have a whole bunch of stuff on my to-do list, but I know there's like really one or two main things that I need to do, but I avoid them all day. And then I'll do all these other things that probably could have waited, a few days later or whatever. Like it wasn't immediate, just to have an excuse to say, well, I didn't get to that main thing because I was so busy doing all these other things. So I was avoiding the task when I know that's the task that would really move the needle, but I'm fooling myself by tricking myself into thinking that I'm being productive doing all these little menial tasks or busy tasks when really I need to do that one thing. All right. Now, y'all know I don't usually talk about you without giving you things to do that you can change. So I do have an action step that you can take. Okay, so a little gold nugget that you can take with you on today. So if you're one of those people who do make to-do lists, I want you to look at your to-do list for tomorrow, and I want you to ask yourself: is this task, is it going to help me progress? Is it a performance task, or is it a pressure task? Like, am I doing it because I feel pressure? Am I doing it because I'm just performing? Or am I doing this because it will actually progress me and get my next level. Okay. So is it for purpose? Is it for pressure? Or is it just for performance? Okay. And if it's anything outside of you progressing or for your purpose, then you might want to consider rescheduling it, delegating it, or possibly even completely deleting it. Okay. So be mindful of that. All right. So the second thing that might indicate that you are getting burnt out is you're being busy, but your busyness is not in alignment. You're moving, but you don't know where you're going. You like the people who left Egypt. Y'all just walking. We walking around in circles, okay? Not making any progress. All right, because just because you're in motion, that don't mean you making moves. All right. Let me say that again. Just because you're in motion, that doesn't mean you're making moves, especially if you're going in circles. You just like the hamster on that little wheel, just going round and round and round and going nowhere. So you need to make sure that is not the case for you. So when you're in motion, you're actually moving forward. You're actually progressing. You're actually getting to your next level. You're leveling up. Okay. So make sure your busyness, well, I won't even say busyness, but make sure your movement is in alignment to where you want to go. All right. And I have another statistic for you. So, because a lot of us have side hustles, and like I said, I encourage y'all to have a side hustle as well, side hustles and businesses. But statistics are showing that Black women are 17% of all new business are 17% of all new business owners, which is the fastest growing group in the United States. So this is for new business owners. Black women are making up 17%. This is compared to 10% of white women as well as to 15% of white men. So we are the fastest growing group in the United States to start new businesses. However, when it comes to venture capital funding, that's where you can get money and stuff. The venture capitalists, only 0.2% goes to Black women-led businesses. Now, that's another conversation for another day that we could really delve into the disparities there, but we're not going to talk about that. So even though we are the fastest, y'all, we get like the backhand. People like just backhand us so much. We are the fastest growing group when it comes to new businesses, but we only get 0.2% of venture capital funding. We are also the smartest demographic. We are the most having the most degrees, but we get paid less. So there is definitely a wage disparity. There's definitely a wealth disparity. There's definitely an access to funding disparity when it comes to us. Now, with that being said, even though we are the fastest growing group of new businesses in the United States, only 3% of Black women-owned businesses mature and survive longer than 5 years. And that is also the case for most businesses as well, okay? So it is very hard for most businesses to make it past 5 years, but only 3% of our Black-owned women businesses survive past 5 years. So if you are starting a business, this is not to discourage you at all. It is just to let you know what you are up against, how the odds are stacked against you in so many different areas. But that doesn't mean you cannot succeed. That doesn't mean that your business is not going to thrive. That doesn't mean that your business is not going to be successful. Okay. That is not what it means. Shout out to me. We just celebrated 9 years of business in my business this past May. So I'm very, very proud of that I have beaten the odds, but I know it was not easy for me. It is not easy for anyone else who is starting a business, and especially for Black women-owned businesses. I know it is not easy for them as well. So just know that these are the statistics when it comes to Black women-owned businesses. Even though we are the fastest growing demographic for new businesses, you need to make sure that you are business savvy. Make sure you're getting all the business help, business acumen that you can receive, because only 3% of Black owned women businesses survive past 5 years. Okay. So make sure your movement is in alignment, because just because you're being busy, that doesn't mean you are aligned. Okay. And because just because you're moving, it doesn't mean you are moving in the right direction. So we talked about that. Okay. Because sometimes being busy, that can actually become an addiction. And what do I mean by that? You are addicted because to just being busy or doing different things, because you are avoiding the stillness. You are avoiding making that tough decision. You are avoiding growth. You are avoiding doing that thing that will really drive you or push the needle to that next level. Just like I was telling you in my example, sometimes I would do stuff. I would do all these other little things instead of doing that one thing, because that one thing was hard that I needed to do. That one thing required me stretching my mental abilities, stretching my mental capacities, stretching me physically, helping me. It probably caused me to grow. It challenged me to look at things in different ways. It wasn't easy. And because of that, I didn't do it. I avoided it and did other little things that kept me busy and gave me an excuse for saying, oh, well, I couldn't get to that today because I was busy doing this. Okay. So people confuse motion with purpose, and it is not the same. Now, some examples of this, because if you're like, I don't think I do that. So let me break it down and give you some examples. Some examples of this is that if you go to every networking event out there, but you don't never follow up, you just putting your face in the place and you just showing up, but you're not following up with any of the people that you are connecting with to try and grow the relationships, to try and grow these business partnerships, then your busyness is not in alignment. Okay. Or if you're running around to all these different events and things, and you still ain't making a dime, like your business has not grown. Like you passing out business cards like it's water, and nobody is calling you, and you're also not following up with people to see if they'll be interested in your product or service, or you still haven't even found your niche. So you going to all these networking events, and you don't even know exactly what you're in business for. Okay. Um, or this is the one that's like me, you're taking on new projects, but you're avoiding the one that you really need to do, or you're always helping someone else plan their next move or do their next big thing, but you're still stuck and not doing your own. Okay. So if you find yourself in any of these scenarios, this is when your busyness is not in alignment with what you should be doing. Okay. Now, how you can change that is you can do what I call a calendar audit. So all you're going to do is look at this past week. So the last week that passed, look at it and review the items that you did. So for the blocks of time that you used last week, you can ask yourself, did this align with what I said I wanted to do? Did this align with what I was supposed to achieve? Also, look at the different activities you did and look at what served you, what drained you, and what was just noise. Like it was just a distraction. It was just something to keep you busy. So, what actually served you? What actually helped you move the needle to your goal? But what drained you and what was just noise or distraction? And identify those different things so that you don't make the same mistakes. All right. So that was the second thing. Let me make sure I don't have any comments. We are good. And I'm going to take a sip real quick before we get to the third thing that may have you being busy and burnt out. All right, y'all. So the third thing that might have you burnt out is if you're saying yes to everything, because when you say yes to everything, that is essentially you saying no to yourself. And it's not that you don't have a issue with boundaries. It's like you have an issue because you feel guilty about stuff. So it's not a boundary issue. It's actually a guilt issue. All right. But please, please, please remember, every yes to them, every time you say yes to them, that is you saying no to yourself. Okay. So your yes is going to cost you something. And that something, it could be your time, it could be your energy, it could be your money, it could be your creativity, it could be your peace, it could be your sleep. It's going to cost you something when you say yes to that thing. All right. What is it going to cost you? Is it going to cost you to delay your dream? Is it going to cost you to prolong your project? What is that yes costing you when you say yes to someone else? Because essentially you are saying no to yourself and delaying some of your destiny by helping someone else. And if you are a people pleaser, I know we don't want people mad at us. I don't really care if people get mad at me, but some of us are worried about that and want to people please people. And I'm not going to say that's a bad thing. I mean, it's good in some extent, but people pleasing is expensive. Okay. Just like we talked about, it's going to cost you something, even if it's not something monetary. What is it costing you? Is it costing you your time? Is it costing you your creativity? Now they done went and ran with your idea that you had when you could have done the same thing. What is it costing you? Okay. And also, please make sure that you are on your own priority list. All right. Because if you're not on the priority list, if you don't make yourself a priority, don't be surprised when you start feeling depleted. Okay. Don't be surprised when you start feeling drained because you didn't make yourself a priority. You put other people in front of you. That's not to say that not to take care of other people, but make sure you're pouring back into you. And if you're like, well, I'm not a people person, I don't do these things, then let me give you some examples of that. If you're running around helping everybody else, this might look like you help someone launch their project, but you still haven't touched your website or touched your own project in like 6 months. All right. If you have overcommitted to doing something, you've said yes to someone because you told yourself, well, they don't have nobody else. Nobody else is going to help them. If I don't do it, then they just going to be out there and it's not going to go well. If you've said that recently, knowing that you're overcommitting, then yes, you are guilty of it. And you're going to eventually end up burning yourself out. All right. And if you have not given yourself some real rest, like you just keep telling yourself, well, this is just the season that I'm just going to be busy, but you really have not taken a rest, then you might be guilty of this and might eventually lead to burnout. So make yourself a priority. And here's what I want you to do. This month, since we are in a new month, write down 3 things that you will not sacrifice on this month. Whether it's sleep, you taking a self-care day, you taking a spa day, you taking time to work on your business, you taking some time to create content, whatever it is, just commit to 3 things that are non-negotiable that you are going to work on this month, okay? Because you need to make sure that they are in alignment with you, alignment with the things that you want to focus on. And if they're not, just say that doesn't align with my focus right now, but I wish you the best. All right. It's just that simple. I wish you the best, but right now it doesn't align with what I'm focusing on this month. All right. So say that. All right. Stay committed to yourself. Stay committed to your goals. Stay committed to your dreams. All right. You have to set those boundaries with people. You have to set those boundaries with yourself. All right. And remember it. All right. Hold that line like you run security at the club or you run security at the TSA, in the TSA line. Hold that line. Hold that boundary. Okay. So no one oversteps it, including yourself. All right. The 4th thing I have is this one is kind of like the burnout you don't talk about. This is what I mean by that is the burnout might not look the way you think it looks. Okay. Not all burnout is just you collapsing and passing out. Okay. Sometimes burnout is just you being numb, you actually over functioning, or you just don't care. Like you are just apathetic about stuff. Okay. That could be a form of burnout. I mean, it doesn't have to be to the point where you just feel like you have to collapse. All right. Sometimes it looks like you're just doing way too much and kind of over functioning because you're overstimulated. And of course, even with this, I have some statistics. It says that 51% of Black women say stress significantly impacts their health. 51%. That's over half of us, y'all. 51% of Black women says stress significantly impacts their health. And 22% says it has a major impact. That's a big number, y'all. It's a lot of us walking around stressed out, all right? And we need to make sure that we are getting help, and we need to make sure that we are taking care of ourselves as we're running around trying to take care of everybody else, okay? Um, Also, like I said, burnout might not look like how you think. It might be you're still showing up, but you don't feel anything. Like you're showing up to the events, but it's like, I'm here. You're not excited about the thing that your friend has. You're not excited about the thing your family member is doing, but you're just showing up because you're there out of obligation. Like you're just going through the motions pretty much. That could be a sign of burnout. If you're coming into these spaces and places and you're showing up and you just don't feel nothing, all right? You're just there. That could be a sign. Um, and just be mindful. You're like, okay, if you're feeling a little frazzled or like things are a little out of control, you're like, I just need to get a new planner so I can write everything down. It might not be that you need a new planner. It might be that you just need a break. All right. It's not that you're disorganized. You just might need a break. Okay. And some examples of this is if you're constantly multitasking, but you feel like you're never fully present anywhere. And I've had that feeling. Like I've had so many things on my to-do list, and I feel like I can't even enjoy the moment of the different things that I'm supposed to be doing, because it's like, okay, we got this done, on to the next one. All right. So if you're multitasking but you feel like you're never fully present in anywhere that you're going, this could be a sign of burnout. Also, if you're irritable, you're tired, or uninterested in doing some of the things you love, this is also might be a sign of burnout. So you wonder, you aggravated with your own self. Like who else has been like that? Like, not only are you aggravated with the people around you, but you pissing your own self off. Like, I don't even know what's wrong with me, but I'm it's like I'm ticked off at myself. All right. That could be a form of burnout. Also, if you feel disconnected from your goals, even the ones you used to be all hyped up and excited about, that could be a form of burnout that people don't talk about. Okay. So just know it doesn't always look like you just exhausted and you're collapsing and you just need to lay out and you just need to rest. It could look like these things, like you just not doing the things you love, or you still showing up, but showing up with no interest. Okay. But as always, if you can relate to any of these things, then here's something that you can do. Here's an action step that you can take. You can have like a do nothing day or a low stimulus day, which is also called like a low stim day. Just choose one day out of the week where you are not going to be on, where you're not going to do anything. Like you're going to keep social media to a minimum. You're going to keep talking to a minimum. You're going to keep any output. Like you ain't doing a whole lot. Like I ain't cooking, I ain't cleaning, I ain't doing, I'm not even really talking. You keep it to a minimum. So no emails, no calls. You just keep it just low stimulus day, and you just let your brain and your body rest and you just be. Okay. So think about that if you can relate to any of these things here. And let's see what's up. I was gonna say I'm gonna have to check the comments before I go to the last one. And Ken, I see you. Let me see what you said. Good to see you because it's been a little while. And Ken says, she says, hi, yes, I agree with you that being numb is a sign. Yes, you just don't feel anything. You don't feel excited about stuff or anything. And then Ann Ken also says, me, I get on my own nerves. Yeah, girl, it be like that sometimes. It is like that sometimes. I was just like that the other day. I was like, I'm aggravated with myself. I was like, I don't even know why. But I'm getting on my own nerves. And I was like, let me go lay down and take a nap and see if I feel a little bit better once I get up. All right. So the final thing I have, and then we're going to play our game, booked or burnout. The fifth thing I have for you to help identify burnout is if you have clarity, you need to get, or help you overcome burnout, I should say, is getting clarity over chaos. Okay. You don't need a new hustle. You might just need a new lens, a new perspective. So stop chasing new ideas and sit with what actually serves you. I'm definitely a victim of that. Okay. So especially when you feel like you're not like you're busy because you feel like you're busy, but you're not really accomplishing stuff. So then you're like, oh, well, this is this new thing that came out, or this new idea, or this new something new is going on. So you have like shiny. They call it shiny object syndrome. So it's like shiny object syndrome. It's like, oh, look at this. Maybe I need to do this because you don't feel like the stuff that you're doing right now is like really working out. So you're like, I need to gravitate to this new thing. No, stop chasing those new ideas and sit with the things that actually serve you. It's almost like we have FOMO where we fear that we're going to miss out on something because it's new, but we just need to focus on the things that we already have and work on those things. Now, the reason why is because as Black women, and this one I might have to refer to some other statistics I have too. Um, we take on a lot when it comes to our home life, our work life, and just taking care of others. So it says that 75% of Black women spend more time on household labor than white women. Okay. So we spend 21 or more hours on housework than white women do. And then also it says Black women also spend an average of 4 to 12 more hours per week on childcare. So that's a whole part-time job, y'all. 12 hours per week, 4 to 12 hours per week on childcare, and 15 to 20 more hours per week caring for elderly or sick relatives compared to white women. That's another whole part-time job. So if we on the low end, from the low numbers, 4 and 15, that's 19 hours. On the high end, that's 32 hours. So anywhere from 19 to 32 hours, we're spending extra time either taking care of our kids or taking care of a sick or older relative compared to white women. No wonder we stressed out, y'all. No wonder we stressed out. Like, and this is on top of us working. Some of us might be going to school because we're getting those degrees and stuff. On top of all of that, like, it's a wonder we don't have time for ourselves. Like, it's only 24 hours in a day. But anyway, and studies show that the additional responsibilities contribute to the stress and time poverty. I like that word. I might start using that word. Time poverty experienced by Black women, because our time is in poverty. It is in poverty. And this affects their ability to balance work, entrepreneurship, and family life. So we got a lot on our plate. All right. So, and sometimes you are definitely overwhelmed, but sometimes you might not be overwhelmed. You might just be unclear. And when you have clarity, that helps bring your confidence. So just know you don't have to chase everything at once. You just need to know what's really yours. And sometimes you need to simplify things in order to multiply things. So simplify in order to multiply, because you can't do it all. And sometimes when you just hone in and start focusing on one or two things or one major thing, then you're able to multiply that and you're able to be a lot more productive. Okay. And some examples of this, because you're like, I don't know, but hopefully, I mean, I definitely see myself in this. If you signed up for 3 courses, but you still don't know what your business is or what your business is going to focus on, you're doing too much. You're doing way too much. All right. Or I've been guilty of this too. You got 4 Instagram accounts in no direction at all with any of them. You might need to simplify to multiply. Okay. And or if you're busy trying to look like a boss instead of building like a boss. All right. Once again, that goes back to that first thing we talked about, that performance productivity. So you up there trying to do all the things and look like you taking care of business instead of actually building and working on your business. So the thing I want you to focus on for this one is just choose one thing to focus on for the next 30 days. So the rest of this month, okay? And center everything around that one goal, okay? Because if you ask yourself, what's the one result that would make me proud in 30 days? Think about that, focus on that, and see if you can achieve it. Cut out all the fluff, cut out all the extra. Just focus on that schedule, maintain your schedule around that, and see what you're able to achieve. All right, before we get into our game, let me see. And Ken says, let me see how we're looking on time. So we're doing good on time. And Ken says, yes, I'm a caregiver now and it has drained me. Oh, I'm sorry, girl. Along with my toxic, oh Jesus, low paying job, I was in urgent care today. Oh, I hope not with your relative. I hope your relative is doing okay since you were in urgent care. Urgent care for yourself or for your relative. Either way, I hope things are going better. But yeah, we got a lot on our plates, y'all. A lot. And a lot of things are being expected of us to take care of the household, take care of the family, take care, show up for our friends, and then also try and take care of us. And then if you have a business or trying to do things at your job, it can be a lot. It can definitely be a lot. All right. Thank you, Ann Can. She said, good ideas. Thanks. And then it was for me. All right. So if this was for you, so then hopefully you will like the game that I have too. Let me get my little game questions. So the game we're going to play is called Booked or Burnout. And I'm going to give you 10 different scenarios, and you tell me whether that is being booked, meaning you are making some money and being productive, or you are just simply burning yourself out. All right. And if you have been following along with today's topic, you will probably know all the answers to this little pop quiz here. All right. So we need to know booked or burnt out. The first thing is, if you are posting every day on your social media account with no plan, are you booked or are you burnt out? Y'all already know that is burnout. Okay. So you're pushing your content every day, but you don't even know what it's leading to. It's just leading to drives and exhaustion. So that is definitely burnout. But y'all know I never leave y'all hanging. Here's how you can flip the script. So we're going to flip the script to make you booked. So instead of posting content daily with absolutely no plan of what you're going to do, start batching your content weekly with intention. Figure out what's the theme for the week. What's the theme for the month? And then start batching your content accordingly. Tie it to a goal as well. Like, are you trying to get people to sign up for your email? Are you trying to get engagement? Are you trying to get sales because you have a product or a service? So tie it to that. Don't just be posting content to be posting content, all right? Batch it weekly and do it with intention, okay? So now you are booked with a strategy, all right? All right, so the next one I have is, are you booked or burnout? If you are saying yes to every collab, event, or invite, is that booked or is that burnout? So all of these are going to be burnout. So you are burnout because your calendar is full, but your energy and your bank account are empty. All right. So we don't want to do that. We don't want to say yes to every collaboration or event or invite that we get. And I know some people, y'all get so excited when people invite you to stuff. I don't know. I guess it's the introvert in me. I'm very selective about the spaces and places that I like to go into. And yeah, I'm very protective of my energy and stuff like that. So don't just be going places just to be going places, especially now, y'all, especially it's summertime, it's hot outside, people gonna be throwing all kinds of events, cookouts, stuff. If you already know you don't want to go to that cookout because you're gonna run into that one cousin, that one auntie, that one person who always is just an energy vampire, who is always starting some mess or always, doing something, then you might want to avoid it just for your peace of mind, just to preserve your energy, okay? So don't say yes to every event, whether it's business or personal. Now, how you can flip the script to turn it from burnout to booked. So only say yes to aligned opportunities. Be selective and not just available. Like, y'all need to treat it well. I would say y'all need to treat it like you're dating, but even with that, some of us don't do the best when it comes to that. But be selective, okay? When you can be booked, but with boundaries. That's what you need to have when it comes to these different situations, especially when you get invited to different things or events and stuff. Okay. All right. Now, the third thing I have for our game, booked or burnt out, is if you're working late every night because you feel behind. Is that booked or burnout? Of course, it's burnout. Okay. So if you're doing that, you're in grind mode pretty much 24/7, but you probably still feel like you're drowning and not making any progress. How you can flip the script on this is you need to start delegating stuff, see what you can automate, as well as see what you can eliminate when it comes to tasks that are not essential. Okay, so only prioritize things that are going to move the needle, that are going to move the goalpost, and only focus on those things. Okay, because if you do so, now you're booked with balance. All right, so just remember that. All right, the next one, the fourth thing I have in our game: are you booked or are you just burnt out? All right. The fourth thing is you're helping everybody else build their dreams. Is that being booked or burnt out? You already know it's burnout. So you're the go-to helper. Everybody's going to you because you're just so wonderful and you can do it all. But you are neglecting your own vision board. You are neglecting your own projects. You are neglecting your own dreams. They are literally sitting over there in a corner collecting dust because you're so busy helping other people live out their dreams, finish their projects, go and achieve their goals. And you're excited and you're happy for them. And I'm not saying don't help people, but don't help people if you know you need to help yourself. All right. Start helping yourself. So, how you can flip this is just like you took time to help those individuals do whatever project they have, start whatever business they have, help them, with their different products or services. You need to do the same thing when it comes to you. Make yourself a priority. Block off time for you to work on your own dreams, for you to work on your own products, and make it non-negotiable. Okay, because sometimes this is what happens. If you don't plan your day, I've said this before, if you don't plan your day, someone else will. Okay, if you don't have things on your schedule or on your calendar that are non-negotiables, people will call you up and be like, hey girl, what you doing? Oh, nothing, just chilling. You want to go with me to such and such, or you want to help me with this? And next thing you know, you helping them doing this thing, or you out there doing something else when you really should be working on your own goals and your own plans and your own dreams. Okay, so block off time for your dream. Okay, make it non-negotiable. Okay, when you do that, now you're booked for your next breakthrough. Remember that. All right, the fifth thing is it booked or burnout? You're at every meeting, but nobody knows your name. Is that being booked or burnout? That is burnout. Because how you going to every meeting and these fools still don't know who you are? you doing something wrong, okay? You are doing something wrong, all right? So if you are constantly present, but you are barely ever heard, or you are not being valued, that is just leading to burnout, okay? Instead, what you need to do so you can be booked is that you need to speak up, you need to set goals, and you need to claim your seat at the table, all right? Let your voice be heard. Let them know that you got ideas and you're moving and shaking and stuff. And if they're not listening, if they're not taking you seriously, then don't worry about having a seat at their table. Start building your own table so you can go after the things that you want to have, okay? So now you are booked with purpose, all right? All right, next thing. Is it booked or burnout? You're running a business, a household, and a ministry. Sis, you're doing the most. You are doing the most. And some of y'all are designed and equipped for that. But that is definitely burnout. So if you're the CEO, you the chef, you the cook, the chauffeur, you the choir director, you the Bible study person, and you doing all these things, but you still haven't taken some time to rest since, I don't know, since Whitney Houston was in Waiting to Exhale, because you still waiting to exhale, then that is a sign of burnout, all right? So what you need to do in order to flip it so that you can be booked is you need to start defining roles, all right? Even though you're good at something, even though you can do it, that doesn't mean you should do it. And I've had to do this myself. There are many things that I'm good at. There are many things that I'm talented at, but I cannot do all the things. I need to let other people do the stuff so I can be freed up to do the things that I really need to focus on. So you need to define clear roles and trust people and let some stuff go, because I'm a type A person. I want stuff to be just so, especially with my names attached. But you're going to have to let some stuff go and let some other people step in and do stuff and start asking for help. Start outsourcing some stuff, okay? It might not be perfect. It might not be 100% how you want it, but you can't do all the things, okay? And it could be something small. Just start letting these people, if you still going to the grocery store buying your own groceries, and this is not, I'm not trying to sound bougie or anything, but if you're doing all these things and you still going grocery shopping, and maybe you need to do like Instacart and let them grocery shop for you, so you can free up an hour of your time and focus on some stuff, okay? Because literally you cannot do it all right? You need support. That's the thing. You need support. All right, moving on. Yes, because I need to wrap it up because now I'm getting short on time. So the seventh thing I have is it booked or burnout. If you have no real days off in the months, of course, that's going to be burnout. All right. So if your body is at work, your mind's in overdrive, and everything is going, that is definitely a sign of burnout. Okay. You need to flip the script and schedule rest in your schedule, just like you would schedule anything else, just like you would schedule a doctor's appointment, just like you would schedule time if you were working with a client or a customer or something like that. You need to schedule rest into your schedule. Okay. Because when you're recharged, that means you get better results. All right. When you're rested, you will have better results. Okay. But when you're running on E, like even your car, when your car is running low on gas, when your car is running low on gas, you be scared to do certain things. It's like, oh, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to make it across town. I gotta make it to the gas station. Or the slightest little jump or skipping your car, you be like, oh Lord, is that the gas is about to cut off? So when you're on empty, you are not functioning at your full capacity. You are not doing your best. So when you rest, when you rest and you recharge, you're going to get better results because you have more energy and you have more focus. Okay. All right. So y'all only have 3 more and then we're going to wrap it on up. Booked or burnout. You're checking emails and DMs before you even brush your teeth. Now that's kind of nasty, but some of us roll over and the first thing we do is open up our social media. That is definitely a sign of burnout because now you're being reactive and not proactive. And I'm a big proponent of that. I want to make sure, and when I say a proponent of the opposite, I want to always try and be proactive and not just reactive. Okay. Because when you're reactive, everybody else is dictating your day. That goes back to the example. If when somebody calls you up and you don't have anything on your schedule and they say, girl, what you doing? And now you're at the will of them because you didn't plan your day. Be proactive and not reactive. Okay. And in order to do that, how you can flip the script so that you can be booked and not burn out is you need to start your day with a morning routine, have a no phone zone, and now you're starting your day with peace. And that is what usually when I wake up in the morning, I have a certain amount of time that is just for me. Everybody else is asleep usually. So I have that time for me. So I can do my devotion. I can do my prayer. I can have a little time just to myself and get my thoughts together before the day's agenda slaps me in the face. Because once I go out there, once I start interacting with people, it's going to be a hard fought battle for me to get any time back to myself or get any peace because the day has started. So I prioritize having a morning routine, waking up early so that I can just have a few minutes. Usually I want like an hour, a few minutes to myself before my day officially begins. And one day in the month of May, that did not happen. And I felt so off kilter that whole day. I was rushing, trying to get, it was just a mess. So try and do that. Schedule some time for yourself. Start your own morning routine so that you can start your day with peace. All right. Is it booked or is it burnout? If you're taking pride in being that strong friend, it's good to be that strong friend, but if you're not getting support, that is going to lead to burnout. If nobody is checking on you, if you are like privately struggling, but publicly you're trying to act like you're in a good mood and you putting a smile on your face, that is going to lead to burnout. All right. So how you can flip that is you need to create space for you to be soft, for you to be seen. Okay. For you to be supported. You need to let folks be able to pour into you just like you've been pouring into them. All right. So That way you can get a reciprocal relationship, and it's not just transactional and everybody's just taking and draining from you. All right. All right. Our last and final one of our little game, is it booked or burnout, is if you're celebrating the grind but you shaming rest. Is it booked or burnout? That's definitely burnout. Okay. You can't be celebrating hustle culture. And y'all probably have noticed I'm big on a side hustle, but I am not trying to hustle all the time. So I always tell y'all to hustle smart, like work smart. But I'm also telling you to prioritize rest. You will never hear me shame rest. When I'm tired, I lay down. I don't try and fight it usually. I lay down, especially now that I've gotten older. Okay. So if you don't feel worthy unless you're doing something, that is a sign of burning out. Okay. Stillness should not feel wrong. Being still, being by yourself, enjoying the company of oneself without anything else going on, that should not be wrong. Okay. If you got to be busy all the time, you're eventually going to burn out. But how you flip that, you have to redefine success. Okay. And redefine your success is not in your motion and your movement and all the things that you're doing. And when I say motion and movement, I mean like just being busy and not accomplishing stuff. You have to redefine your success and take pride in taking rest. I mean, even God had to rest. So there was a day of rest. So there is definitely meaning. There's definitely purpose in resting as well. So you need to rest as well. All right. So I hope y'all enjoyed that little game of books and burnout. I know I did. But hopefully this has resonated with you. I know Ann Can told me that this was her and that she needed it, but hopefully some other people also enjoyed it as well. And I also, not only did I want to share with you guys how we as Black females are booked and burnout, but also to let you know that you are not alone. We are not crazy, which is part of the reason why I wanted to bring in the statistics as well, because sometimes you might be asking yourself, am I crazy? Or somebody might be like, girl, you crazy. I don't want you to feel like you're crazy. I don't want you to feel like you're abnormal or anything like that. It affects all of us. And statistics show that these are the things that we are going through as Black females. Okay. So I want you to feel seen. I want you to feel heard, but I also want you to choose to live differently so that you are not getting burnt out. So that you are prioritizing your time, prioritizing your self-care, so that you are creating boundaries and safe spaces for yourself so that you can reclaim your time, reclaim your focus, and reclaim your rest and be the best version of you that you can possibly be. Okay. All right. Because just because you're busy, that doesn't mean you're building. That's what I want you to remember. Just because I'm busy, that doesn't mean I'm building. You want to be productive, okay? And in order to be productive, you got to be clear and not just booked up with, with different activities and things going on, all right? So, I don't know, but hopefully, if this resonated with you, share with me in the chat one thing this week that doesn't align with who you're becoming and that you are going to release today or release this week. Let it go. You're going to let it go like Elsa, all right? Because it is not aligning with the person that you are becoming. Let me know in the chat so I can support you, so I can encourage you, so I can cheer you on from afar as you release those things and go out to be the best version of yourself, okay? So you don't have to be booked and burnt out, all right? They do not have to go hand in hand. You can be booked and productive and successful without feeling all the stress and struggle of that, all right? Peace is the new flex. I want to be at peace when it comes to things. This summer, peace is what I'm going to be striving for. So peace is a new flex, and that is what I wish for you guys. And hopefully you'll be flexing your peace all summer. All right, so let me see. So I don't have any other comments. So that is all I have for now. Thank y'all so much for joining. And I will be back on next Tuesday to do our Gold Digger book club. I keep forgetting to do the church announcements. The Gold Digger Book Club, we are reading Kiki Palmer's book, her autobiography. I forget it. I got a Master of Me. So I'm gonna summarize that, and I will also announce our new book club pick for the month of June. All right. Until next time, take care, everyone.